delivery system, we cannot be able to measure that without looking at the services when it comes to issue of public health. Or looking at the implementation level of prevention and infectious control, the response to disaster management, the response to nutrition and malnutritional diseases, as well as health policy implementation and healthcare financing. The methodology we actually focused on was a desk review to be able to look at the documented literature with regard to the implementation of public health services in Nigeria. And we use some certain terms such as the implementation level of infectious disease and among others. Of course, our result revealed that despite the fact that there are a lot of challenges when it comes to issue of implementation of disease prevention and control in Nigeria, but recently Nigeria has made a great progress with tackling about the issue of occurrences of infectious diseases, from Ebola virus in 2014 and that of COVID-19 in 2019. This has actually informed us on the strength of the Nigerian healthcare delivery system, especially when it comes to the issue of infectious diseases. Looking at the implementation of disaster response and preparedness, we can attest to the fact that actually, despite the fact that the government has now integrated the response into phases, integrating all the ministry, department, and agency that are responsible to respond to the disaster, but we cannot actually deny the fact that the response to emergency and disaster response is very poor in the country. Looking at the issue of terrorism, Boko Haram, kidnapping, issue of hip-hop, among others. We also look at, you cannot conclude on the impact of public.
Okay, let's listen to the audience whether we have questions to ask. How I wish this had been put up in slides. What I have here looks so concise and straightforward. Any question? No question. So take a bow and go back to your place. Nice presentation. The next person is Akin Bodewa Gladys. Akin I didn't want to pronounce the last so that I won't mispronounce. You're welcome. Yes, you have 7 minutes to speak to your paper. You can go on. What if the light had not come? All right, all right, all right.
The slides, please. Examining healthcare.
The topic.
Examining healthcare financing.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Good day, honorable panelists, my colleagues, and everyone in the house. I'll be speaking on examining healthcare financing and sustainable community health delivery in Nigeria economy, emerging economy, from accounting perspective. It examines sustainability of healthcare financing in the community health delivery in Nigeria. I am an accountant, and I got interested in this community health conference because the role of accounting cannot be underestimated when we talk about healthcare delivery in any economy, especially in an emerging economy like Nigeria. Community health is key to economic development, which we all know, and emerging economies, in particular Nigeria, face underfunding and inefficiency in management. From my study, the out-of-pocket expenses payments exceeded over 70% in Nigeria, and beyond just funding health in Nigeria. The issue also involves transparency, accountability, efficient resource utilization, and sustainability. This study is grounded in public finance theory, and it uses the causal comparative research design with secondary data from the World Health Organization, the Central Bank of Nigeria budgets, publications, and several other materials. Most studies, while going through secondary data and other journal publications, I found out that most studies ignore the role of accounting systems in improving healthcare financing and sustainability in emerging economy. What is healthcare financing? Healthcare financing encompasses the accounting and financial management functions of healthcare organizations and how the society pays for healthcare services and how it is consumed. And when we talk about payment, when we talk about funding, when we talk about revenue, we cannot shy away from accounting. So the objective of this study is to evaluate the efficiency and transparency of healthcare services, to examine financial management practices, to assess reporting and control systems, and to develop an accounting-based framework for sustainable community health delivery in Nigeria. My findings show that even though budget increased, but there was low prioritization. What shown here is to achieve sustainable healthcare, financial governance, and accountability systems, to adopt international accounting standards, to implement digital financial reporting systems, because we are now in a digital era where accounting has moved from the traditional to the, and also to promote training in financial management. From my experience, I found out that many resource wastages, and in essence, it has also led to high mortality rates in the country. What is our major takeaway? From my study, our major takeaway is inadequate funding, weak financial management system, corruption and lack of accountability, inefficient resource allocation, and overdependence on donor fundings. When I say donor fundings, mostly they come from international bodies. The most emerging economies depend too much on donor funding for contribution to knowledge. The contribution to knowledge here is that this topic integrates accounting principles into healthcare financing. It also introduces health financing management efficiency to monitor the performances of the funding, the revenue that goes into healthcare in the country. It links financial practices to health outcomes. What is the relationship between the financial practices and the health outcomes of the people? And it also developed an accounting-based sustainable framework. In conclusion, sustainable community healthcare, the emerging economy, requires strong financial management system. It requires transparent reporting, efficient resource allocation, and reduced dependence on out-of-pocket payment, which is over 70% in emerging economies, in particular Nigeria. Healthcare financing is not just an economic issue. It is an accounting and governance issue. Sustainable healthcare in emerging economies is not merely about how much is spent, but how well resources are managed. How are they accounted for, and how does it translate into real health outcomes? Thank you.
A round of applause for her. Maybe the panelists, we were a little bit partial, and maybe because of my area of study, I wanted to see how you were going to conclude that paper. Can we have questions from the audience? Okay.
Yes, I want to thank the presenter for a well-articulated presentation. You did well. It's just one question I want to ask. Administrators lack the prowess of is it medical? That they lack the prowess. So what I'm quarreling with now is the word most. Do you have data to support what you are saying? And if you are saying most, what percentage? Because there are certain words you don't bandy around when you are doing research. So, except you are giving us percentage. Thank you.
Thank you for that very pungent question, or observation rather. Yes, any other? I think that's a good presentation you have done. Take it back. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much. The presenter is a PhD student in accounting, and accounting department know they carry last, and that is why we are here to back up the community heads in this international conference. So I'm the co-author to that paper. So is the corresponding author. I am the co-author. So we are together. Okay? In the area of health care, the question we are asking here is health care financing. Is our government really financing our health care system? I think the third speaker, when she was speaking, she spoke about an incident that happened in Ilorin where a pregnant woman was dead in the process of delivery. You know, that is failure on the part of the government. In the United Kingdom, it is an aberration for any pregnant woman to go to hospital to give birth and die in the process. The nurse or doctors responsible for that have to face penalty. But in Nigeria, our government don't care. You know, how many pregnant women died of childbirth per day? Is our government really financing or budgeting strongly to provide health care support for our people? That's the person that begs for answer. They are not help Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Though I didn't listen to our presentation as a co-author. He mentioned one thing, and I want to ask the audience: is government financing health sector? Thank God you are a community health practitioner. Yes. Let us. I want to ask.
Yes, in a way, I would say that government is financing health sector through basic health care fund and national health insurance scheme, but there is a challenge. The challenge is that it's supposed to go direct to the facilities. The funds are supposed to go direct to facilities, but you know the Nigerian factor. Thank you.
Yes. government are financing health sectors. But I rightly accept what she has said, but I need to add one more thing to it. People are determinant for health sectors. Are the people are working at the grassroots. But when they are making their planning, they will never involve them. People will sit down at Abuja and inside the AC, they will determine for people at Inyafoworogi, which they don't know. It means all the fund will not go down. It will hang at the middle for those people who are making policy. That is where the problems lies. Thanks.
Because of other presenter, I know that you have the similar, but sorry, I'm sorry. I know, if I give you more chance, mommy, okay. Sorry, thank you, sir. Sorry, thank you, sir. I want us to, when we, number 9, I will be Miola Emmanuel. Thank you.